one way to stop anti-Semitism is to give people more money. Is that right?
I think one of the ways is to actually fund people that are actually designed to investigate anti-Semitism on college campuses.
What's there to investigate? We see it.
We
We
it,
saw
but
it. Did you watch television? Did you see what happened at Columbia?
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it was clear to me that the administration at Columbia and most members of the faculty believe passionately in diversity, equity, inclusion, and the right to hurt Jews. That's what I saw. Isn't that what you saw?
I saw.
Isn't that what you saw?
Welcome back, fellow patriots. This is Right View Nation, the home of unfiltered truth, unapologetic patriotism, and real American voices that refuse to be silenced by the woke mob. Today, we witnessed a masterclass in speaking truth to power. Senator John Kennedy, God bless that man, took the gloves off and laid bare the rot that's festering in the heart of America's so-called higher education system. You want to know what's really going on in our elite universities? Let me break it down for you, because what we just saw wasn't just a Senate hearing. It was a wake-up call for every freedom-loving American. Senator Kennedy asked a simple question. Is anti-Semitism worse under Trump? And what did the witness do? Dance, dodge, and try to spin the narrative like a DNC intern in a CNN control room. One of the witnesses tried to blame President Trump. Yes, the president who moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, who stood shoulder to shoulder with Israel, and who was tougher on Iran than any of his predecessors. But somehow, he's responsible for anti-Semitism? Lies. Nonsense. Deflection. What we're witnessing isn't analysis. It's indoctrination disguised as testimony. Now let's talk about the college campuses. Because Kennedy nailed it, Columbia, Berkeley, UCLA, Barnard. These once prestigious institutions are now ground zero for anti-Semitic rhetoric and radical Marxist garbage. And what's the solution, according to the leftist witnesses? More federal funding. That's right, they want your taxpayer dollars to bankroll DI bureaucrats and campus equity, offices that are more focused on silencing conservatives and Christians than stopping hate. You can't make this up.
Thank you all for being here. Ms. Solomon, I want to be sure I understand your testimony. Did I understand you to testify that anti-Semitism is worse under the Trump administration?
Senator, thank you for your question.
You don't have to thank me. Okay. Your best thanks is to answer.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you that anti-Semitism has been rising, especially since the 2017
but has the
Charlottesville
Trump administration
attack.
caused that? Is that your testimony?
I wouldn't say the Trump administration has caused anti-Semitism. Has there been an increase since Trump has entered office? Yes.
Do you see a causal connection there?
Yes.
Why?
Trump has highlighted and platformed neo-Nazis and white supremacists.
Okay. Mr. I can't see that far.
Racklin.
Mr. Racklin, I understood you to say that in answer to Senator Durbin's question, the spending reductions, reducing the federal budget would increase anti-Semitism. Isn't that what you said?
No, I did not. I said that the constant threats to cut money to the Office for Civil Rights and the Department of Education prevents the federal government from adequately investigating anti-Semitism and other hate crimes on college campuses.
So you think one way to stop anti-Semitism is to give people more money? Is that right?
I think one of the ways is to actually fund people that are actually designed to investigate anti-Semitism on college campuses.
What's there to investigate? We see it.
We
saw it. Did you watch television? Did you see what happened at Columbia?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it was clear to me that the administration at Columbia and most members of the faculty believe passionately in diversity, equity, inclusion, and the right to hurt Jews. That's what I saw. Isn't that what you saw?
I saw.
Isn't that what you saw?
I saw protesters against the war in Gaza and them using some anti-Semitic slogans and thoughts. I would say, however, that it's hard. I would say,
isn't that
however,
what you're telling me? That's not what you saw.
For
now, don't get off the subject on me now. You're telling me that's not what you saw.
I'm telling you that it is difficult for the federal government to adequately address the issue of anti-Semitism.
Are you telling
without
me
appropriate
the
resources.
Columbia administration and the faculty was supportive of the Jewish community?
I think that they are
You
trying
need to
find
stop
ways
dipping into your ketamine stash.
into what? Excuse me?
Now, if we're going to solve this problem, we need to talk about it.
I'm
And
happy
it
to
wasn't
talk
just
about
at Columbia. It was at Berkeley. It was at UCLA. It was at Barnard. And Columbia has a history of discriminating against the Jewish people. They used to refuse to let Jewish students come to their university. Now, you can try to bubble wrap this, but that's what I saw. If you want to stop a lot of the anti-Semitism, maybe we need to stop teaching kids to be anti-Semitic.
Sir, I would relish that opportunity.
Let me ask you a question, Ms. Kohab. Did I say that right?
Kohav.
Do you think it's possible to feel compassion for the Palestinian people without hating Jews?
Absolutely.
Would you elaborate on that? Because it looks to me like many of our Ivy League universities, they weren't the only ones. Some universities handled it well. Vanderbilt, University of Chicago, Tulane. But it looks like the administration was teaching kids you got to pick a side. Mm-hmm. You either have to hate Jews or you have to be for Hamas. You can't be. There's no middle ground. Tell me what you saw. You've written a book about it. Maybe Mr. Rockland ought to read it.
Just because we are testifying, I wrote a chapter in the anthology Young Zionist Voices about what's happening on college campuses, and my book is coming soon, so look out for that.
Good plug, but
So let me answer your question.
Can you feel compassion for the Palestinian people and not hate Jews?
Absolutely. I think that what I've seen on college campuses is a pushing of a Marxist framing of the way that you see the world. And this is not only in liberal studies departments. I've taken dance classes, I've taken creative writing classes, where your final project is literally called The Political is Personal. And what they're teaching you on college campuses is that the political is personal and that everything should be personalized. And there's a global north, a global south, a global right, and a global wrong. And the issue with college campuses and what's happening right now in the United States is that we're allowing ideology to drive violence. A society that says that you can commit violent acts based on your ideology because your ideology is correct is a society that's eroding, and that's what I see on college campuses. Now, you asked if I could feel Palestinian peoplehood, right? If I could feel compassion for the Palestinian people. Absolutely. And every night when I go to bed, yes, I pray for the Jewish people, but I also pray for the Palestinian people, for God to send them leaders that actually care more about their safety. Leaders that put their people's safety in order to propel an ideology at risk aren't leaders. If you look at Hamas, they tout what happened after October 7th up until this day as a victory. How can you lie in rubble after thousands of your people have died and call that a victory? So what I see that has to happen on college campuses is de-radicalization. Until you admit that there's a radical ideology happening on a college campus, you cannot fight it. You cannot fight it.
Senator Arano, hey, I know there's a lot of strong feelings in here. We all have them, but each member only has 5 minutes, and it just takes time away from their 5 minutes if you really want to get all these facts out. Ms. Arano.
These are the same schools that teach students that America is evil, that Jews are oppressors, and that Hamas is somehow a freedom movement. God help us. Then comes the moment that had patriots across the country standing and applauding. Senator Kennedy to one of the witnesses, "You need to stop dipping into your ketamine stash." He said what we're all thinking. The kind of delusion and mental gymnastics we just saw on display can only come from someone who's either been brainwashed or tranquilized. Now let me take a moment to give credit where it's due. One voice, Jo Kohave, a brave Jewish woman who's been on the front lines of this insanity, spoke up with conviction, clarity, and courage. She said it's absolutely possible to feel compassion for Palestinians without hating Jews. And she called out the real issue, radical ideology being pushed by professors, activists, and administrators. She's right. This isn't about free speech or peaceful protest anymore. This is about weaponized ideology. Campuses are teaching students that violence is justified if your cause is correct. That's not education. That's domestic terrorism training with a tuition bill. You want to stop anti-Semitism on college campuses? Then stop funding the poison. Stop tolerating the lies. Stop pretending that diversity means hating Jews, silencing Christians, and labeling patriots as Nazis. Let me be crystal clear. We, the American people, are done letting our schools become breeding grounds for hate under the guise of social justice. We are done funding institutions that indoctrinate instead of educate. And we are done letting the woke left call good evil and evil good. Senator Kennedy didn't just grill witnesses today. He exposed the rot. He drew the line. And he reminded the world that truth still matters in this country. At Right View Nation, we will always stand for truth, for Israel, for Judeo-Christian values, and for the America that raised us to respect life, liberty, and the pursuit of truth, not lies pushed by privileged radicals in ivory towers. So here's your call to action, patriots. Share this video. Comment below and tell us what you think should be done about anti-Semitism on college campuses. And most importantly, vote, speak, and show up, because this country belongs to we the people, not the woke elite. Until next time, stand strong, speak truth, and never back down. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.